Hi everyone, this is Tony Gunnison from Omdia, Principal Analyst TV Advertising and Online Video. Today we're talking with Jean-Francois from Synamedia. He looks after sales and marketing. We'll be talking about burning issues for TV and video in the long 2020s decade of digital transformation.
Thank you, Tony. Always a pleasure to exchange with you on the future trends of the industry.
What key areas do you feel are changing for pay TV providers, bearing in mind this sort of transformation period that we're under?
Thank you, Tony. Well, I think it is an exciting time for the entertainment industry in that basically, you're right, there are many different ways by which content is being served up to consumers. And, for the first time, consumers get to choose when they want to watch content and how they want to watch it. There's a proliferation of ways to watch content, and there's a proliferation of the type of content that's available. And there's never been in the history of mankind as much content being produced as there is today. So it is an exciting time. There's a lot of different models. And for the first time, the people who produce content have direct access to the consumers.
And I wanted to ask you, do you think that pay TV providers and TV providers in general, should they be going after that sort of model? Do you think that they can do that? Do you think that they have the flexibility to do that?
In today's day and age, they have to. There is no alternative to that, because the reality is that in the majority of the world, and I'm excluding emerging markets where there's still growth because we're lowering the cost of providing the service, so there's still growth in rural areas. But in general, the reality is pay TV subscriber numbers are declining, and they're declining for a number of factors. They're declining because basically people have other means of entertaining themselves, so they spend less time watching what we call linear TV, pay TV. And so today, if you're a pay TV provider and you want to keep the end users, if you will, relationship with you, you have to start looking at how you yourself will aggregate different types of services to satisfy the end user and to be the place where they go to provide TV entertainment services.
And for most pay TV providers, they have this tension. They have younger audiences, perhaps, that perhaps want to go to that online model, but they also have, proportional size of their customers that want to remain pay TV customers, and that's a challenge. How do you balance the need for the legacy customer and the future customer?
From a demographics perspective, what tends to happen is obviously, take my mother, take older generations, they tend to, be used, behaviors are hard to change. They tend to be used to consuming content in a certain way. So though I bought my mother an Amazon Fire Stick and I set up Amazon Prime, I've set up Netflix, all these services on her TV, the reality is when I ask her, hey, are you using them? Oh, no, there was something nice on TV tonight that I still watch it. So for example, for my mother, like pay TV is what she wants. She's not so interested in the on-demand stuff, except when our nieces and nephews and grandchildren are coming, and then she's very happy to have Disney Plus and play them some movies from that.
One of the things that we've been predicting is that first there's a good life left in pay TV. It might evolve into an online pay TV, but essentially there's going to be more sort of the bundle's going to return perhaps online. Do you think there's any mileage in that sort of idea? Maybe not that hundreds of TV channels, but a handful of pay TV SVOD services being bundled together, or something like that. Do you think that's something we're going to see?
But I think there's a few key trends that are of interest. First of all, we talk about SVOD subscription VOD that Netflix in some ways created. Then you have AVOD, advertising funded video on demand. And now we talk a lot about FAST. And basically FAST is about creating a channel of content that is pretty targeted toward a community of interest and inserting advertising. So it's basically taking video on demand, like video that's already recorded, and then stringing it along on a new channel with advertising inserted, so to create a channel that might be of interest to some user.
Just to talk about that connection, and perhaps with the set-top boxes and smart TVs, how do you feel the role of that is evolving? I think it's quite interesting because it's keeping the customer in one platform, right, on one area where they can access various different sources of entertainment.
So I think well, there's many elements to what you just said, but I think you are right. Today we have managed and unmanaged devices. So the set-top box being a managed device, and then people consuming it on their computer, iPad, iPhone, telephone, etc. And I think today there's many ways of consuming content, and this is good. Obviously, it gives different demographics. In the context of the set-top box, it's not necessarily linked to advertising, but it's about owning the customer relationship. And for telcos, owning the customer relationship and basically keeping it compelling reduces churn, number one. But number two, it starts to position them in being able to better understand their consumers and better understand their consumption choices, better understand their behaviors, and hence better be able to serve them.
What advice would you give to companies about that? Because you cannot move on, your services. You cannot move them wholesale to online, because that means loss of revenue. Because we know that customers do not want to pay as much as they did for traditional cable subscriptions for an online service. It's been tested, and in the US, and it doesn't work. Is there a solution there? Would SVOD prices have to go up?
Well, we see Netflix doing that, and I guess they're testing the limits of what you're willing to pay, and they're managing this. They're managing their profitability with the trade-off of how many subscribers will churn if they raise the price versus how much more revenues they're going to get. So they're tightly doing this, but they're investing massive amounts of money in content production. I think service providers are in a fantastic position to be the main hub for entertainment, but to do that, they need to be innovative, and they need to, become the single shop to entertainment services and make that compelling and provide a compelling user experience. And that's why there's a lot of interest today in first getting insights from customers, from data analytics, doing targeted advertising to serve up relevant advertising to them, and to improve the user experience. And we see a lot of investment in making the experience to end users more compelling, to ease content discovery by the end users in a way that is seamless and caters to their desires.
Great. Very interesting stuff indeed. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to check out the report, which is also available here on this website. And there's some other links scattered about as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very enjoyable to have that discussion, and look forward to our next discussion, Tony.
Likewise.